Hey everyone, welcome back to the show. And today we are diving into a topic that you have not heard on this show yet. We are going to be diving into Etsy Printables. I know what you're thinking, like, what? What does Etsy have to do with social media and Instagram? Well, really, it doesn't. But I always like to have guests on my show that can really open your eyes and introduce you to a possibility for your business and maybe a possible stream of income to help you grow your business. So today we have Julie Berninger on, and she is going to give us all the goods on how to get started with Etsy, what are the possibilities and what we should be doing. So welcome to the show, Julie.
Thanks for having me.
I'm glad you're here. Now, before we dive in, do me a favor, let my audience know why you got into Etsy and tell us about Gold City Ventures.
Sure. So hi, everyone. I am a toddler mom who's an entrepreneur in Massachusetts. I was using the term full-time entrepreneur, but that's not true at all. I'm a full-time mom that also has a business. That's how things work in my house lately. But I used to work in corporate America for a decade. And when I was on maternity leave with my first daughter, I had been really doing well selling printables on Etsy. And I recorded a series of videos of myself of how I do it. And I had a lot of interest from people that I had already as readers on my blog and on my podcast. And from there, I decided, well, let's launch a course. So I launched a course and I took a year before I actually left my job, but now Gold City Ventures is my full-time job when I'm not momming.
That's amazing. And I love what you said earlier, like really we're full-time moms with a business intertwined in that. And that really, that is the reality of it if you are a mompreneur. So I bet some listeners, their ears have probably perked because just like you're in the online space, you have a website, you now have an online course, you have a podcast, but now they're hearing you talk about Etsy and Etsy Printables. So I'm really interested in this topic. I'm hoping that you'll dive a little deep into some aspects of it. But we know you hear the term constantly that if you want to be a millionaire, you have to have like 7+ streams of income. So a lot of moms might be sitting back going, well, I don't know what I could possibly add to my portfolio. So why is adding a revenue stream from printables a good idea for mompreneurs?
For me, adding a revenue stream from digital products from Etsy has not only been an income booster, so I generate over $1,000 per month just with my Etsy shop alone, and then I have an Etsy shop for Gold City Ventures that is an absolute lead generation magnet for me. And I think any entrepreneur should either think about this from a revenue play perspective or just the fact that your ideal target audience is on Etsy. And instead of you paying for Facebook ads or Instagram, why not try and see if you can make some money selling on Etsy and then bring in leads to your business?
And I think a lot of people, when they think of Etsy, they're probably thinking of the physical, tangible good that they order from someone and they make it in their house and they ship it to them, which is great for Etsy sellers. But when you're talking about printables, this is an actual digital product that they purchase, they download, and they print themselves.
Correct. I make most of my files using Canva on my computer.
I was just going to ask that. I'm like, is there a creation process in the beginning? So there's probably a lot of upfront work depending from the initial idea phase to the actual launch of your Etsy shop. So we know that that's going to be some work, but once it's kind of uploaded, correct, in your shop, and maybe every few months or every few weeks, you might be making changes or maybe some additions, but is that almost like evergreen digital products out there that can be selling over and over and over?
Absolutely. So I took 6 months off last year to move 3,000 miles across the country because my husband and I realized with a pandemic and a toddler, we should be near one set of grandparents. So we moved over to be closer to my parents so we could get a little more help with childcare and all of that. And I didn't touch my Etsy shop once. Now I have an online course, and that's while that has elements of passive income, it is truly work every day. But the Etsy shop just runs on autopilot. So I kept up the $1,000 per month in the shop. I didn't add one single product. Then around the 6-month marker, I saw it started to dip a little bit down to like 900, 800 a month. And that's when I started adding new products and got it back up over the 1,000, which is my sort of side hustle target for my personal Etsy shop.
Now you have my mind and my creative reels right now in my brain, like turning. I'm already like, ooh, what could I possibly do? It's so funny that you're on the show today because before the holiday, I was thinking this year that I would love to create a journal or like a notepad for mompreneurs that kind of
Mhm.
has like my style and my colors and all of that. And it would just resemble my brand. So now that you're on, I'm thinking, wait a minute, maybe it's Etsy Printables. So what are some good ideas of printables that will sell and be worth our time as mompreneurs? Is there kind of like an overarching type of printables that work really well?
Yes. So there's kind of two different approaches to this, and I have had over 3,000 students test this out, and people make sales the fastest when they stick to seasonal products, like
Oh,
things that would help people for the holidays or special events and occasions. Because for those of you that have shopped on Etsy, you've probably shopped during those time periods to buy a gift for someone or whatever. Now, if you could think of a way to apply a seasonal lens to whatever you're putting out that attracts your ideal audience, then that's a win-win, right? So for me, I recently added realtor templates to my shop just because I knew that's a good niche. So holiday realtor templates, things that people can post on social media, that's an example of how to take advantage of seasonal trends while also getting those entrepreneurs and people that are willing to pay more. If for example, though, you're only doing this as an income play, then you can also do seasonal activities for moms, seasonal things for kids, that type of stuff. And you can make a lot of money doing that. But just given your audience might be entrepreneurs and wanting to think of this like, oh, how do I attract my ideal customer? That's where you really got to think, okay, well, what is my ideal customer shopping for on Etsy? When are they shopping? And what products could I provide them that attracts them to my shop?
that's really cool. So the next question is that where's like the first step that a mompreneur would start going, okay, I kind of have this idea, a vague idea. How would they know if Etsy Printables is right for them?
I think the first thing that you might want to do is get some help with Canva or some graphic design program and just learn how to put this together. Now, some of you may already have, you have workbooks, you have client templates, or you have processes that you could turn into something like a physical product, or you could hire someone to help you make things look prettier. But that's where I would actually start, learning how to make the files on your computer and then opening your shop. Now, you can over time start to add keyword research strategies and SEO. It's just like the social media world where those who are good at or know about researching what's trending tend to attract the most people to their shop. I don't know if you know this, but 90 million people shopped on Etsy in the last year. It increased a crazy amount year over year. So this is the right place to attract, particularly if your audience, you have primarily women or female focused audience, this is the place where they're shopping right now. So if you could get some real estate on Etsy right now, it could be a great lead generator for your business.
Yeah, I'm already thinking like it would be so much fun to do like cool mompreneur saying quotes that you can print and frame, or
Mhm.
the journals or the notebooks and the pads of paper and all that kind of stuff. Like my ideas are turning. So how, like, is there like a low cost startup for Etsy? What does that look like? Because I know they might be a little leery of really jumping into a whole new, it's almost like a mini business. You really have to learn the Etsy platform. So is there like a timeline and a low cost suggestion that you would have?
I think with my experience, tried to start selling temporary tattoos on Etsy, and I actually was a physical product seller. And I still made the designs in Canva, but I had a manufacturing partner that turned them into temporary tattoos. But what is beautiful about digital products later when I switched to digital is that you don't have to invest that much in inventory up front. Because with the tattoos, I paid $600 and I still have 1,000 tattoos that didn't sell underneath my bed. Some of the tattoos sold so well, but how did I know starting out which designs were going to be the most popular? And I think I made 6 designs and 3 really sold well, and then the other 3 did not. So I have just this bucket of things I'm never going to do anything with. But with digital products, you can really twist at a drop of a hat. You don't need to invest that much money to get started because you're already using a lot of the tools that we use to make printables. I mean, so many people use Canva for their business or they've heard about it. It's pretty inexpensive to get started with that. And you can pivot on the drop of a hat. Whereas I had to worry about shipping the tattoos and I had to worry about throwing them away or figuring out something. If a digital design doesn't sell, okay, it doesn't sell. Like I wasted an hour on a Saturday doing this and that's it. It's just my time that got wasted. So I think for this, it's a really low cost way to get started. Of course, I recommend that people don't DIY as a busy mompreneur. The mompreneurs who are in the kind of multi 6-figure, 7-figure revenue levels, they're spending a lot of money on expenses. They're taking courses, they're joining masterminds, they're investing in themselves and their business, myself included. I spent over 6 figures in expenses for my business last year. And that's just the way that we all grow and scale. So of course, I'm going to say that investing in something that helps you cut corners and get to the chase is important, but everyone has their own journey. And if you're not ready for that right now, try your best to learn DIY, YouTube, blogs. You can try to piece it together that way.
And do you have any starter tips or where someone could start if they wanted to do an Etsy shop? Because I'm sure it's just completely overwhelming. They're just going to go to Etsy.com and stare at it and go, where do I start? Do you have any like hacks or tips?
Yeah, so I have 3 ideas. If you have a Pinterest account, which I'm sure many of you do, start typing in the next holiday that's upcoming and then printables. Or type in your niche and then add printables, templates, digital, and then see what pops up. Now, of course, copying anyone is never going to get you anywhere. You got to come up with your own flavor of printable, and it's possible and you will. But that's where I would start, because I think for a lot of people, they never really thought about printables before. But then once you figure out what they are and you start seeing them, you'll see them everywhere. You'll see them when you're dropping your kids off at school and parents are giving teacher appreciation gifts. You'll see them in wall art when you're watching someone like what we're doing right now. You look behind their desk, they got a wall art print from Etsy, some type of motivational quote. Somebody made that. Someone like us just thought, oh, mompreneurs love wall art, office decor. I'm going to create something like that. And you'll see them even just everywhere online when you're signing up for lead magnets with email lists. I mean, those are printables. Someone's creating them. And I think the more you start looking out for them, the more you're going to see them and get inspired. So Pinterest is definitely a great place for that. Another tool I like to use, trends.google.com. And I just type printables and different, like 30-day, what was popular in the last 30 days for printable, or what was popular last January for printables. And it just kind of gives you an idea. There's one section there that says rising or like popular. And then you can see what people are searching for that Google is saying, oh, like more people relative to normal are starting to search this subject. Maybe this is trending. Because on Etsy, what is trending and what is popular is the key to revenue. So that's where you can get ideas of what you think will sell. And I know for myself, I'm a toddler mom. I have a business for years and years. I also had a full-time job on top of doing all this. And I can't waste my time. So I always try to give myself the fighting chance to make money if I'm going to be spending time away from my family doing stuff. And that's where like investing in the keyword research and putting a little bit of extra time up front to just figure out what people are searching for, that's going to make the huge difference. And of course, getting a course, getting an ebook, somebody that has done it that just can tell you like, oh, here are the 5 steps and just follow those steps. That saves you time.
And you do have a free ebook. So that was a good little segue. Tell us more about your free ebook.
Yes. So I have an ebook called The Seasonal Product Secret, and it's a 20-pager, but a short ebook that teaches you how to come up with 12 months of calendar ideas for printables. And then it talks about one specific tool that a lot of us who sell on Etsy use to understand what is trending, not Google Trends that I mentioned before. It's a different tool that's more specific to Etsy sellers that if most entrepreneurs might not know about. So if you would like to, I can give you that ebook and you can link to it in the show notes for the group here. And all they have to do is just sign up and it emails the book out to you.
Awesome. Yeah, we'll definitely put that in the show notes. Now, I'm sure a lot of moms right now listening, they may not like getting that idea generation going. So let's say we have a mom who is into like wealth, wellness, and they're a fitness coach. Does any printables jump to your mind that they could create and make an income off of?
Oh yeah, totally. My husband is an online personal trainer and I'm always telling him, hey, you need to help me make client intake forms because a lot of people if you think about how the pandemic has changed people's behavior, there's more and more people that want to be entrepreneurs. There's more and more people that are in the service business. So I'm always telling him, hey, can you help me make these kind of personal trainer client intake forms? Because I do see searches for them. And a lot of people are working in client-based businesses, but they want to impress the clients and stand out from other people. So they'll give them these forms where they type in, what are your goals? And do you have any past injuries? And, what are your, I'm sure those of you that are fitness coaches, you know more about what questions you would ask than I do. But anything that you've already used for your business, or you could even create to make yourself look more polished to your clients, just stick it on Etsy after and then see what happens.
Very, very interesting. And I love that you talked about Canva, because I'm in my brain going, well, I create Canva templates all the time for Instagram stories, all that good stuff. And it's like, how can I twist that and make it as an Etsy printable, like creating calendars, creating journals, to-do lists, that kind of thing?
Well, you totally could. I mean, I know for myself, I'm really good at keyword research and I'm good at podcasting, like video, but I'm terrible at Instagram and TikTok. It just doesn't come naturally to me. So I purchase templates and courses and things to help me just cut to the chase. Like, okay, they figured out what looks good in a story. I don't have to think about it. So I'm just going to do that and tweak it for myself. And I know there are tons of other people like me that are searching for that exact same thing. So whatever someone else's strength is, I'm sure you can turn it into a digital product and help the rest of us who need that help out.
That's awesome. I love this. And what a great idea to add an Etsy shop to your business and have it as a stream of income. Now, do you know what is like the typical timetable? You've had a lot of clients that have gone through your course from beginning to end of creating your Etsy shop, going through the idea phase and actually launching it and making an income. What does that timetable typically look like for a mompreneur?
We've tried to speed this up and we've experimented with how different cohorts of people we've taken through the course have done. And almost the biggest thing that is a blocker is that if people don't get their shop up fast enough, then they get distracted by the next shiny thing and side hustle. I mean, I'm the same way. I take a million courses. I'm always like, what? All over the place, right?
Yes.
So the key is we got to get them to open that shop ASAP. Okay. So with mompreneurs, our biggest challenge for the most part, we're like perfectionists and we don't want to put anything up there unless it's like our end state of what we hope our printable would look like and what our brand looks like and stuff. But in reality, the first time you ever do something, it's just not going to be the same as the 100th time you do something. So we really encourage people to just get that shop open and up, which is why in the course, maybe 2 years ago, we started adding templates, commercial use okay templates, and we have a dozen that we give away with the course purchase. And then we also have 5 free a month to all of our members. And the point of that is not that, oh, you're going to take this template and make 1,000 sales on this. It's more like you were going to take this template, you're going to tweak it, and your shop's going to be open 2 weeks before the person that was trying to be a perfectionist. And then later on, if you want to figure out your niche or your keywords, which we teach you how to do in the course, then you at least have the shop open and you're focused and you're motivated and you're moving on. Because I think for a lot of us, like I said, we want to cut to the end instead of just being okay with ourselves on the journey.
And I totally get that. And you would probably agree with this, Julie, because think of our podcast. How long does someone work on their podcast before they start putting an episode or 2 out, which really just record the episode, put it out there, because 100 episodes in, that 100th episode will never sound like your first 10.
Right. Totally. And at the beginning, you're kind of building your audience and you're building your customers. So on Etsy, the cool thing about Etsy is they really do help out new Etsy sellers. So we'll see people post in our Facebook group, got a sale, went to bed and got 2 sales. And this hasn't happened like just twice. This literally happens a lot because I think Etsy just sticks your stuff out in front of people and sees how you do, which is really cool. But if you think about it, you're going to have more traffic 3 months in, and 3 months in, you're going to have these way better looking printables in the beginning. So you kind of just got to push yourself off the cliff and just do it.
Awesome. Now, one last question. Is there kind of a rule of thumb when you open your Etsy shop? Is there a minimum amount of digital products you should have in there just to kind of make your shop look good?
No, that's such a good question. And we see people, those overnight people, they'll have just 1 product.
Really?
It's totally crazy. It's totally crazy. And I think this is like the hidden secret of entrepreneurship, this whole Etsy Printables thing. More and more people I've realized have figured it out in the last year, but this is just becoming such a big thing. And if you think about how shopping patterns changed the last couple of years, people aren't going to physical stores anymore. The whole DIY movement really has taken off. I mean, everyone's trying to do things themselves at home. They're getting inspired by craft TikTok videos, showing them how to make things look cute. Gifting has turned a little bit more DIY as well, because we're not maybe shopping in physical places as much. So with that has come a rush for printables. And even though it makes, like, I know for myself, whenever I start something new, I try to talk myself out of it. Like, oh, everyone's already done this, or it's not going to work because I can't add anything new. This is just the beginning. So by not getting in now, I feel like you're going to be kicking yourself when a year from now you see all these people crushing it on Etsy with printables. At least that's how I kind of feel. I mean, for myself, I took 6 months off last year. And then I look at a student in my course, instead of, stepping away, she leaned in and she spent 15 hours a week doing this. And she made 100 grand on Etsy last year with printables.
That is amazing.
Which is crazy. Like my business partner who runs the course with me, Cody, we didn't even realize when we started this course that was possible, because we were like, oh, this is a side hustle. We do it at side hustles. And then we see these people that they just love it and they made that their entrepreneurship journey. And that's like what they do. And you can do Instagram and run ads to your shop and everything. It's like crazy what's possible. So I hope that people dive more into this, but it's definitely one of the hot side hustles for entrepreneurs right now.
Well, I really hope my audience gets inspired. I know you have inspired me to kind of look at this and see how, my company, Boss Lady in Sweatpants, and relating to mompreneurs, like the ideas are already just like rolling in my brain right now. So I will be brain dumping and definitely getting in contact with you when I'm ready to launch some sort of Etsy shop by the end of the year and have some Boss Lady in Sweatpants printables for my mompreneur. Like, I think it'd be so cool. So Julie, before we end today, where can the audience connect with you? Because I want to make sure that they learn more about your free ebook and your course on how to launch an Etsy shop.
Cool. So I'll give you the ebook link. You can put it in the show notes. And my course is at goldcityventures.com. And I am trying to get started on Instagram. Please don't make fun of me. I had some friends, they're not entrepreneurs. They came over this weekend and they said, Julie, this is an intervention. Sit down. We need to talk to you about your reels. Like these are, you're not allowed to do this anymore. Because I was doing like these crazy, weird Harry Potter, like Minnie Mouse, trying to just, I don't know what I'm doing there. But if you would like to see the shenanigans, then go to instagram.com/millennialboss. I'm trying. 2 L's, 2 N's in millennial.
Well, I'm going to go check it out now, because now I'm intrigued. I'm going to go check out those reels. If they're entertaining, I'm going to watch them.
They're entertaining in a kind of way, in one kind of way.
Well, Julie, thank you so much for being here today. And I cannot wait for the audience to learn more about Etsy Printables. Thank you
for having me.